who he is and what he claims he is? If you know who that man is, tell us in the comment section below. Have you ever heard the term, you only live once? It's a scam. The mentality, the word, the verbiage, the phrase is a scam. And I'm going to prove it. First of all, where does this attitude come from? See, you only live once, the phrase that's been etched into the fabric of this matrix or this culture, urging us to seize the day and live fully. Do what you want to do, because you know, you only live once. So do you think that is truly reality or a scam? Tell me in the comments below and let's explore this. So the YOLO sentiment is not new. YOLO. Drake stamped it, right, in the 21st century, but it goes way further back. In the early 20th century, and that's who this man is, Aleister Crowley was an occultist, which is nothing wrong with that, by the way, for those of you who are, the founder of Thelema philosophy, and he proclaimed within this philosophy, do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt. So do what you want. And let that be the entire law. I mean, he didn't invent that mentality. You can go even further back into the 16th century, and I'm sure even further back from there. Now you gotta remember that this man Aleister Crowley, he believed in a hierarchy. That's where all this stuff comes from. The pyramid. He was big on ancient Egypt, but he's most known for calling himself the 666 Great Beast. Now, whether you believe he believed that or not, that's how he chose to represent himself, as the beast, as the enemy. Now, we got to understand what Satan is, right? Satan means, if you didn't know, Satan means the enemy or the opposer. Now you got to ask yourself a question. Is Satan an actual humanoid being, or is he something much greater? Like a universal archetype, like a scientific law, like a cosmic force that spans within every culture and every civilization that we have discovered thus far. If you believe that that being is the latter, then you will be correct. So, what is the enemy? It cut off on me a little bit, but family, this is on CapCut. So if you see flashes of images, if you pause it, it's just going to be me. CapCut's weird like that. I get questions, am I putting something in? Just pause it when it happens and you'll probably see me or a video that I'm trying to cut into, because I can only do 3-minute segments on CapCut and I have to put them all together at the end. So let's go back to the enemy. So who or what is the enemy of all things within nature, everything within every culture? What is that thing that is trying to destroy, trying to separate, trying to pull apart everything? In science, they call that entropy, right? So the devil or Satan has already been scientifically proven. If you want me to do a whole video diving in on that, I can. You got to understand that what we live in, this matrix you call civilization, is creating entropy at all times. It's always destroying things because it's unsustainable. See, matrix means womb. You have good wombs, you have bad wombs. A good womb takes care of something so it can be independent, and the bad womb creates a dependency cycle on it so it can keep it in a state of infancy so it can take from it forever. And so that's what you live in. That's what your life is surrounded by, that sort of system. You got to understand that systems like the banking system, the education system, have been set up to create new slaves. That's right, you are a new slave. You are what slavery has turned into. And what they do is, quite literally, they educate people from a young age to believe that their purpose is their career, so that it's their purpose to work for a CEO. John D. Rockefeller, those who watched that video that I broke that down, did this intentionally, and many other people did this in the education system intentionally. And then you have the Bacon system, what they wanted, and what they have is they want to associate the dream for success to be what? Houses, cars, education, right? As in college, Why? Because these three things today, they are all connected to debt. And so if you go through all these things, if you get all these things, then you will be indebted to them for life. So every single person within the United States can have a debt to the banks and therefore be an indentured slave to the banks. And how do they back this hustle culture? Well, you guessed it, you only live once. So you should do as thou wilt. Momentarily desires. Do this, pay for this, get this car, get this. I mean, you only live once, man. It's a scam, and we're going to break that down. So one thing that they try to push to you within this matrix is that when you pass away one day, nothing happens. Just nothing happens afterwards. You just are in nothingness. But you see, non-existence or nothingness cannot exist by the own nature of the meaning of the word. No thing, non-existence. Non-existence cannot exist. That is a contradiction. So when someone says you're going to go from living into nothingness or into non-existence, that is just a play on words. It doesn't actually correlate with anything in reality. For example, like a circle square, I can say a circle squared. It doesn't mean those words correlate with anything in reality. I can say a married bachelor, but we understand that these are contradictions. They do not actually correlate with anything in reality. So nothing or no thing or non-existence by its own nature, by its own wording, cannot correlate with reality. Meaning there always must be something. There can never be nothing going on. So when you pass away, there is no nothingness to go into. You will always go into something else. But you should still accept the concept that you as you are now will have to eventually die in a way, right? Our consciousness, our very essence does undergo transformation. It's undeniable. A tree becoming paper isn't a tree anymore. Water vaporized into a liquid. But, you could reincarnate as a lion, but you're still not you, right? You want different things. You are different. You have different genetics. You, as another person, another country, different culture, different parents, different genetics, again, different memories. But it's okay because you actually already go through this every day. Right? 7-year-old you is different from you now. Every 7 years, your entire physical self changes. All the atoms are different. Your memories are different. Your brain is different. Your desires are different. Your wants are different. Your memories are different. Even your parents have changed. Yet, the continuity of you still exists. So while parts of us change, transform, or even die, the essence remains. So never let that YOLO mentality keep you trapped and working your job or doing crazy things, going to the clubs and stuff. You are going to be here in another form, whether you like it or not, when you pass away. Whether it be reincarnation, your children, energy, whatever. So we have to make sure this is a place that we will want to come back into. You're not meant to work that 9 to 5. You're not meant to pay a mortgage. You're not meant to pay all these things that got you paying, doing all these things you're meant to do. You're meant to, that you're not meant to do. You're meant to create this system called FAMS. Live free. Food, forest, foraging, hunting, anti-fragile modern society. It's a system that you can make without me on your own terms. The book is free and it's in the link at the top of the page. Well, the Audible is free. The physical copy is right here if you want that physical copy in your hand. I love you all. Peace.